There is a quiet exhaustion that comes from constantly trying to prove your worth. Not always out loud, not always consciously, but deeply ingrained in the way you live, work, speak, and even rest. Proving that you are smart enough, successful enough, kind enough, strong enough. Proving that you deserve love, respect, space, and belonging. For many people, this invisible struggle becomes the background noise of their entire life.
It often begins early, approval becomes safety, praise becomes identity, achievement becomes permission to exist without guilt. Slowly, without realizing it, you learn a dangerous lesson that your value must be earned. So you perform, you adapt, you hide parts of yourself and exaggerate others. You become what is accepted, not what is true. And the more you succeed, the more exhausting it becomes, because the finish line keeps moving.
The problem is not effort, the problem is believing that effort determines your worth. When your sense of value depends on outcomes, opinions, or recognition, peace becomes fragile. One mistake can collapse your confidence. One rejection can reopen old wounds. No amount of approval ever feels permanent, because deep down you fear it can be taken away. This is why proving yourself never brings lasting fulfillment. It creates motion without arrival. You are always becoming, never being, always reaching, never resting, always asking the world, am I enough now? And the world, distracted and inconsistent, never gives a stable answer. There is a moment, often quiet and deeply personal, when something begins to shift. A moment when you realize how tired you are, not physically, but internally. Tired of pretending, tired of explaining, tired of carrying the pressure to justify your existence. This moment does not feel dramatic, it feels honest. And honesty changes everything. When you stop proving your worth, you do not become lazy or indifferent. You become grounded, you stop outsourcing your value to external validation. You start listening inward, you realize that worth is not a reward, it is a starting point. You were not born needing to earn your right to exist. You were born enough and everything else was learned. This realization can feel uncomfortable at first. Without the constant drive to prove yourself, you may feel empty or directionless. But that emptiness is not loss, it is space to redefine success. Space to choose growth without self-punishment. Space to rest without guilt. Space to show up as you are, not as who you think you must be. When you live from inherent worth, your relationships change. You stop chasing people who only value your usefulness. You set boundaries without fear. You speak more truthfully, because silence no longer protects your identity. You are no longer desperate to be chosen, because you have chosen yourself. This is not a declaration of superiority. It is an act of compassion for yourself and for others. Because when you stop proving your worth, you stop demanding proof from others too. You allow people to be human. You allow life to be imperfect. You allow yourself to breathe. You were never meant to prove your worth. You were meant to live from it. And the moment you truly understand that, something profound happens. The noise quiets, the pressure softens, the chase ends. Not because you gave up, but because you finally arrived.